thank you for coming on the show. And before we get started and have you dive right into the game, just tell me who you are, where you're based, and what got you into game development.
Yeah, so my name's Justin. I'm from, like Central Texas. I've been making games like mostly as a hobby, but for quite a while, probably 25-ish years, give or take now. The most recent one I've been working on is Rogue Slots. It was released at the end of December, but it's a roguelike dungeon crawler that you play through a slot machine. And
Sweet.
I'll send
And
you the link to that as well.
yes, go ahead and send me the link to that. And we got Rogue Slots in front of us. So tell us, yeah, what's going on screen here?
Yeah, so basically in like Rogue Slots, you're battling like different enemies throughout a dungeon. Um, and then as you like progress, you're adding new cards to your reels. The new cards will do things like these ones will cast an attack, or if I was to match, some gold cards in a row, maybe I would get some gold. And then as you progress, you just kind of build your deck, um,
Okay.
and then allow the slot machine to, you know, play out the outcome of it here. There's a couple other things too, along with this one. I really wanted to explore the Steam like inventory system.
Okay.
So I built out a way for users to have like different Steam skins as their knobs, which is like tradable on the Steam marketplace and things like that.
That's pretty sweet. Is there like I think that's a nod to what, Jurassic Park, the
Yes,
Navi just equipped. Is there like a
yes.
way for like the community to also like add their own skins?
So not yet, but I am going to be adding workshop support, or that's on my to-do list so that users can make their own skins.
That's super cool. Yeah, let me see what you got. Okay, you got a
So yeah,
Pokeball,
at the moment,
Death
this is I think
Star,
all of them,
Sponge. Okay, I gotta say I'm a Star Wars nerd, so I really appreciate the Death Star being there.
right?
So okay, you start the game up, and this is
Mhm.
this is how it is. So you just instantly
Yep.
just
So
start your runs by just keep ripping slots.
yes, and then as you play, you'll like level up and earn gold and new items and things like that as well. And then the enemies constantly progress, so it's just like a bit of a battle between you and them, just to see how high of a level you can get to. There's also like Steam leaderboards.
Mhm.
There's a daily and then a weekly leaderboard here.
And so this is how you build your character. Is there like an initial slot that you'll randomly get, like an axe, a sword, or like
Yep.
what are
So
the
this is like
classes
the
like a
shop in
mage
between
and
rounds.
okay.
So you've got like some, treasure or gold. If you roll one of these in a match, it'll give you 10 gold. This particular one, if rolled in a match, will do 3 attack, and then this one gives you some instant HP just when you buy it. So if we were to buy like these ones,
Hmm.
the pink ones are wild cards, so those will match with anything. Then they just get added to the list of possible things that you can roll. So it's definitely a very chance-based game.
Of course,
Um,
yeah.
and I've been listening to like quite a lot of player feedback, trying to address making it a little bit less chance-based. So we've added some stuff since launch, like this skill-based stop button, so you can attempt to stop things,
Okay.
lined up if you want.
Yeah.
Um, I'm also going to be adding, like the ability to remove unwanted cards from your deck. So at the moment, you can't really see a list of everything that's in your deck. So we're going to be addressing that and then adding a way for users to actually, you know, subtract things from the deck they no longer want.
Mm. So,
But yeah, that's pretty much it for this
okay.
one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, what's the farthest you've ever progressed on a run?
So for myself, I think I've made it into like the high 30s or like low 40s, which takes probably 30 or 40 minutes. But at the top of the leaderboard right now, there's a couple people that have they're into the 100s or even the 120s, and they've said that those runs are 12 to 13 hours long.
That's actually insane.
Yeah. So some people have, got some pretty crazy runs going.
So is this did you develop this all by yourself or was there a team
Yeah.
involved?
It's just me at the moment for this one. I have worked with some teams on some other projects, but this one was just something I just kind of made to see if I could do it. Like I said, it was mostly an exercise in learning about the Steam inventory system.
Hmm.
But instead of like, I don't know if you've ever seen the banana game, or there's a couple similar ones to that, but
I don't think I have,
they're
no.
basically just skin collecting games that drop skins based on playtime. And then they don't have much of a game attached, so I wanted to attach like a, sort of a simple game to one of those.
So what was like the first thing you built when building Rogue Slots?
In this one, most complicated thing, and the thing I started on, trying to figure out the logic for the reels, and then
Okay.
making the everything like the matches actually calculate properly.
What's the thing you're most proud of? Is it the reels as well? Because they're the most difficult.
I like the graphical effects for the reels, like the little blur effect.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm a big fan of that one actually. The solution for the like actual reels ended up being pretty simple. It was just a lot to wrap your head around when you're trying to figure out like each one of these is just an array of objects. And I'm trying to figure out matches and different patterns and shapes that way was kind of fun.
I really like the weight you have on the lever. Like
Mhm.
that's super tangible, and it's like you, I imagine it's to like the mouse speed, like how you can pull it, yeah, as slow as you want or fast. That's just like
Yeah.
you can really, to me, the weight is there. Like you can really
Mhm.
feel it's like it's very like tangible.
Yeah, well, thanks. I've done like quite a lot of work with like animation curve. Um, I'm not sure. Do you make games yourself?
I'm a hobbyist, so
Mhm.
I haven't launched one, but I'm a big tinkerer. So
Ah, nice.
I've had like a couple ideas, and then just to learn, so I'll like tinker with an idea. But I've
This one was made
noticed,
in Game Maker,
yeah.
but if you or anyone else is ever using Game Maker, there's a library called Twerp, uh, TWERP, and that's what I use for all the little bouncy effects and animations in there.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I haven't used GameMaker. I've only used Unity,
Mhm.
and I find once I get to the part where I need modeling or like
Right.
effects or animation, that's where I'm like, oh my god, I'm about to jump into the abyss. And
Yeah, I think.
what and what I can see from yours is like the animations, and you said you have like little background. You've had experience
Mhm.
with animation, so like the attack animations, the little was it the multiplayer effects are kind of like are really engaging. Kind of gets yeah those the attack and the
Right.
combo kind of hit a little bit of like the dopamine. Like I can see that.
Yeah, I've done a couple like different roguelike games, but I'm always like a big fan of making everything pop and like move around a little bit. So you'll notice like just about everything kind of wiggles and moves.
Do you think you'll ever like add like an end game at all, like or like a secret end game maybe?
So I don't think so on this one at the moment. The goal is just to kind of, get a high score on the leaderboard. I definitely plan to make the end game more difficult. I didn't really intend anyone to do like a 12-hour run. That was
Yeah,
pretty funny to
yeah,
see.
that's
Um,
insane.
but now it's been more than one person doing, like a 10 plus hour run. So should probably like balance the ending just a little bit so it gets more challenging as you go.
For sure. And I noticed the cat there. Is there? I'm a cat owner, so yes.
Mhm.
I'm so glad you added a pet animation.
So at the
We're
moment,
both
it's
passionate.
just it's just the one cat. But because we're using, the Steam inventory service, I could add a skin, for the cat, and then users could trade their cats, like in between users, um,
That'd be so cool.
which would be pretty funny. I've also had, some people suggest like skinning the background or things like that. So I may add a
Ah,
bit
okay.
more of that cosmetic stuff to it.
Now I see the cheese to the right. Is there any?
Mhm. It's kind of a joke. So like with a group of friends of mine, uh, I've got one particular friend that drew a pixel art cheese once for a game, and I've just kind of made it a joke to put it in everything I make ever since. So it's
It's a little inside joke there.
yep. And if you look around in most of my recent games, you'll find some sort of a slice of cheese somewhere.
What were the other games that you've worked on? So this is the most recent
Yeah, I can
game
show you some more if you'd
you've
like.
launched. Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, so Rogue Slots was launched in December. I actually launched it kind of like out of nowhere, right on Christmas. just to see what happens because I've never done that before. All right, so this one is a little bit different. This one is like a top-down shooter called Reality Core. And this one I released probably about a year previous to Rogue Slots.
And is
It
this one you
plays,
develop by yourself, by the way?
yeah. So for the most part, all the games I'm showing you are the ones that I made by myself. Like I think in this one I had one or two of the animations were done by a buddy of mine, but for the most part, it's all, all self-made. So in this game, you've got like your spaceship that you're in, and you can store stuff in between your runs. So if I grab like a better gun here, it's like a little bit like the Needler from Halo.
That's sick.
But then we can teleport down into like a Binding of Isaac style dungeon.
Okay. And so are these maps randomly generated, or?
They are procedurally generated, yeah. And this one has a bit more of like an actual game to it than the Rogue Slots one, but I think a run in this takes the average person like 20 or 30 minutes.
And is that the same? Just get the best gear as you can and keep going.
Yeah, so I tried to tie like a extraction shooter element. So I'm not sure if you ever played like Tarkov or a similar game to that where you.
Right now, Mark Raiders is the most recent one I've played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So you can take loot out of the dungeons and store it in between your runs, and that's kind of how we did like the meta progression. It's just by making some stuff, more rare to find.
Is making like roguelites, is that like one of your favorite like genres to make? Or is there...
Yeah, so personally I like to play them the most. So I usually end up, like, if I'm going to work on a project for myself, it's got to be something that I enjoy playing.
Yeah.
So I find myself making a lot of roguelites.
So is there like are there like secret bosses or like mini bosses in
Yes. So in this game there's 5 worlds, each with an individual boss, and then there's like a few secret rooms in a shop on each floor.
Now there utility items or like gadgets that you can buy in the shop that you can use, like, I don't know.
Yeah, there are quite a few. Let me see if I can find a shop here, I'll show you. I think there's like 40 items total in this one.
Yeah, the feedback, the animations are just... How did you make the sounds for the guns and the
So I think this one is actually a lot of sounds from the Humble Bundle. If you're familiar with them at all, they sometimes have like game bundles, but they do a lot of bundles for developers. So I got like a sound effects bundle where you can pay a pretty reasonable price for a large amount of sound effects. Same for most of the music, because even though there is a guitar behind me, I cannot make music.
Well, are there any like sounds you've had to make like by yourself, like?
Yeah, not so much in this game. But, the previous one, I did like an entire dungeon crawler where all of the sounds were just my voice into a microphone. So that was pretty funny.
You probably get tired of yours, like when you're editing
or
anything. You probably get tired of hearing yourself. Like, I might be silent for a while.
So for a previous game where I did work, with a team, a friend of mine is a very talented like Foley artist, and for one of the guns that we had designed, he ended up recording like his roommate's pet snake, and there was like a bowl of vegetables involved or something. It was just a crazy amount of actual real life things for one sound effect. So here I just found like another gun. So this one's a little different.
Okay, the noodle.
Let's see if we can maybe fight the boss.
Sick.
I think the shop may have generated behind the boss here.
I was gonna say the creativity to think of that combination of a snake and like
Yeah. Yeah, it was like a weird gun that shot like snake tongues or something, so we needed a bunch of crazy sounds.
So how many bosses or different types of bosses are
in this game? I think there's 5 total. And they're so like the progression between the different worlds in this is pretty linear. While the levels are randomly generated, I'll like World 2 is going to be the same theme and the same boss every time.
Okay.
So let's see. This bank card lets you use the ATM so you can store your money and stuff in
Okay.
between runs. I think we're gonna buy this gun.
The yeet cannon, huh?
So I had a bunch of my friends and people interested in my games submit their designs for the guns in this
That's
game.
fun.
And this one is designed by a guy named Dave. He shoots random trash from other video games.
That's so
But yeah,
cool.
not gonna bore you with an entire run of this, but basically you go down to the next level and it's a different theme with different enemies and a different boss.
Yeah, this is great. What was the most challenging part of when you were developing this game?
This one, I tried to keep the scope pretty simple, so it was just, trying to maintain not allowing the scope to balloon to a point where I couldn't complete it in 6 months.
And
So,
how did you manage that like scope creep? Was that kind of tough?
yeah,
You probably
so,
like wanted to add a bunch of different enemies, imagine
right.
guns too, like your brain probably was like
Yeah, I think
spiraling
just,
with creativity, with possibilities.
yes, that, and then, I've got a lot of, like, interested friends and stuff that'll constantly throw ideas at me when I'm working on something like this, so it's a pretty endless amount of things you could add. But for this one, I set myself like a pretty hard goal in terms of hours I wanted to work on it, and then I just had to kind of budget my time, just to make sure I was. I think for this one it was 500 hours. I
Oh
ended up
wow.
going a little over, but it's like 600 hours total to get this one out.
So do you have? You said you've been making games for a while. Is part of
Hmm.
that like mainly is it indie like hobbyist, or is part of that also like you've worked for studios in Central
Yeah,
Texas?
so I've done a bit of both. I've had a couple like mildly successful but not crazy successful indie games that I've just made myself, and then I've worked on probably 10 or 12 like large uh, double A size projects.
Oh, okay. Are
Dude,
which one of
I'm sorry, go
those?
ahead.
Which one of those was your favorite out of those
Yeah, so
double A's?
probably one of my favorite ones would be a game called Kingdom Gun. Um, it was a Risk of Rain 1 like 2D side scroller shooter.
Okay, yeah.
Um, Worked on that one for just about 2 years with a pretty talented small team. But that one ended up not being reviewed super well on Steam. I don't think it ended up doing very well in the grand scheme of things, but it was very fun to work on with a very good team.
And so, is there a game that you have an idea now that you're looking for a potential like team to work with locally, or
I've got a couple ideas that I've always tossed around the idea of if we could get funding together. Um, I kind of want to make a RPG game like a smaller scoped RPG game where the entire map and lore is procedurally generated. So like effectively every time that you open the game, it'd be a new like miniature Zelda game or something similar.
yeah, okay. Wow, that's interesting. Now,
Hmm.
how long have you been part of the Austin game maker space and that
Yeah,
community?
so I moved here I think in 2016 or 2017. Uh, I haven't been too involved with the Austin game maker scene.
Hmm.
Most of my work ends up being done online, but I have gone to, like a few of the local events and meetups and stuff and met some pretty cool people there.
Yeah, that's kind of really the first like games deal. So I moved to Texas. I'm from California. I moved to Texas in January of last year, and I attended the one of the meetups in February. And I was because I wanted to just uh, get this feel for like what the scene is. Because where I'm from, it didn't exist like
Right.
any indie community, and where I was seeing like games like trend like a bunch of these cool creative ideas. I'm like, what are the ideas that people and the games that people are making that I'm not seeing? And so that was like
Hmm.
really, and then obviously just meet like-minded people who are passionate about video games, and that's what was really fun to see in person, meet people, see their games, see what they're building, and it's like, how can I keep doing this forever? Essentially, it was like, and I'm like, there's meetups like every month, and I'm like,
Right.
sadly, I had to move. I had to move to San Antonio to get closer to work. But man, those meetups, they're such cool creative people.
Yeah, I've been to like a few of the local ones at South by Southwest are definitely worth like your time to travel to.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
did I go? I think I went to. I think there was one this year, or not this year. What I'm saying, last year, and it was at what's the bar's name? I think it was like Valkyrie. I think was the bar,
Yeah. Hmm.
and yeah, it was so cool. Everyone just set up like their setups on a pool table. One was like in a
Yep.
booth. It was like such a cool little experience.
Yeah, it's been a couple years, but I've shown my game at one or two of those before.
So fun. Are you like mainly so for your next game, if
Hmm.
you were like looking for teams, just like you mainly like reach out to your friends who are in the space, and you're just like, hey, do you guys
Yeah, I
got
mean, I've
time?
got
Let's build something.
you know, like being in this space for so long, I've got a
Yeah.
pretty like large like I'm trying to figure out how to say this correctly, like a large pool of talent I could draw from. But even if you know 10 or 12 different pixel artists, it's very difficult to get someone on board with a project, long term.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to art and sound, the talented artists and sound designers are, often on quite a waiting list.
I can see that. I can totally see that. Is there any like incentives? You're like, hey, I'll get you a case of beer or something. Or like, I'll get you a
Right.
burger. Like you try to sweeten the deal.
I mean, like, just like any industry, there's definitely some, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine kind of stuff here and
Okay.
there. But at the end of the day, most of these people that are doing this, to make a living are still trying to make some money too. So, yeah, so I've got like, one of those I'm working on right now,
Mm.
trying to have an artist friend of mine redo, some of my Steam capsule art. And in return, I'm building them like a small prototype for their game idea.
For playtesting, have you used like the community to have them help you playtest your game, or how have you done that, or just with your friends, just like, hey, check this out,
Yeah, I think
give
like
me
a
some
little bit of
feedback.
both. A great spot to get any like any visibility on a game while you're building is just going to be a relevant Discord or like a subreddit.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
if you can take your game somewhere in person, that's always just a little bit extra eye-opening to watch how people react with something in real time, as opposed to what they're going to write to you about it later.
Like, yeah, imagine is it like can it be hard sometimes like to separate yourself from your like creation like objectively sometimes, because like you just want it to be so good, you're like it's perfect, but then if someone will do
It is,
something one way, you're like I didn't even know that's possible, or you're like,
yep.
or yeah,
Yeah,
you
like
know what I'm getting at.
on the Rogue Slots game, right? Like I didn't intend anyone to play a 12-hour run, so I had no idea that that game is very unbalanced. Past the 8-hour mark. um,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's kind of funny sometimes when people will play your game in a way you never expected.
Uh, 8 hours, oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
You probably didn't
So
think it could, yeah, exactly, you're like I thought maybe an hour or two, you're like people
yeah, there was
get hooked.
like originally when I launched that game, there was no button to like give up or to end a run. And that was the first like number one requested feature. People are like, I don't want to lose my 6 hours of this game running. I'm like, excuse me, how long? You've had that going for what now? Like, yeah, it's been going all day. Like, oh,
Is there any like a thought in your mind where you're like, I want to interview you're like, can I
right,
talk to you
yeah.
more? Like, what is just keeping you in the game? You're like, what's
Hmm. And then
something.
you get a bit of like the opposite. Like the game we're looking at right now, Reality Core.
Hmm.
If you take your time and like you play through a whole run of it, how I expected people to play, it's probably like 20 to 30 minutes for a run. But there was a group of people trying to speed run it, and you can speed run the whole game in under 4 minutes, which was news
Wow,
to me. But
that's kind of cool. You're like,
yeah, so people have found ways.
especially when they're playing it in a way you haven't you didn't like expect. I imagine. Have you seen like some of those like runs and seeing how they're like getting through the game so fast, and they're like, oh, there
Yeah,
are
I've watched
any exploits or glitches,
like I watched a couple of them that are pretty crazy, but it's just a lot of people that have better reflexes than I do.
Yeah. I'm just gonna watch a little bit on screen. It's pretty captivating. Especially, I mean, I'm wearing a Halo 2 shirt, so
Ah,
you
nice.
know, I
Yeah, we
really
got the
like
needler
the
now.
Needler homage here. Yeah.
Hmm. So this boss is probably gonna kill me. Let's see.
Lacey. That's a great name. It's very fitting for a boss. It's a giant eyeball.
So that's definitely something I would probably like budget more time for next time I make a game like this. Would be spending a bit more time on the boss fights, I think. Uh, no.
Now, is that yourself saying "owie" or is that part of that
Yeah.
bundle?
Sorry. The character is saying ouch, and then I was also saying that into my mic. But yeah, so the character is forget exactly where that came from. It was some little voice pack of a British guy, and I just pitched it up a bunch. But yeah, so that's pretty much reality core. Like I was saying, in between runs, if you collect some cool loot, you can store it in your ship. So even if you die, the stuff that's like stored in your ship is
Hmm.
saved permanently.
Yeah. So
So a
what are all
little bit
these?
of
So
that,
you got
like,
the ATM. Okay.
hmm
And then what are the other modules in the ship? Or other?
let's see here. So
Securities.
there was the storage one. I think this one was one of the ones where you can sell your items.
Oh, okay.
So it'll give you a value for it, and then you can sell it for some cash. And then there's also, you can enter some cheat codes through here.
Ah, okay.
See, this was the options menu. We did add some aim assist for people that may have difficulty with precision aiming. So if you need it, the game will entirely aim for you. You just have to press the shoot button pretty much.
Built-in aimbot.
Right. Which works pretty good. And then this one is the uh, the objective of the game. So each time you complete one of the worlds, you rescue one of these reality shards, and eventually you can fly your ship, you know, back home.
Oh, okay. Then that's the end of
Yep.
the loop there. Okay, cool.
That's the end of your run and the end of the game for that one.
Now, were there? So you showed me this game and Rogue
Mhm.
Slots. Was there any other games that you wanted to show off?
If you want to see them, I can show you, you know, a few more of them. I'll show you one that's not released yet. I just gotta go grab it from each.
Ooh.
All right, there we go. So I actually worked on this one right before Reality Core, but then made it some substantial changes and decided to do Reality Core instead.
Okay, and when you returned to this game, was there
Mhm.
like things you learned from Reality Core that you added to this title
Yeah,
here?
I think so. I got quite a bit better at doing like pixel art animation, since
Yeah, I like the little guy there. Is that
yeah.
is the name?
But yeah, it I really like avoided doing any sort of pixel art for a really long time. And I've only recently been, making the effort to get good at it or to get better at it, I should say. Uh, so working on Reality Core helped quite a bit. I had to draw quite a lot of different little enemies and animations, so I would say that's definitely something I learned.
Yeah, it looks. I gotta say, yeah, the pixel art looks pretty good.
Yeah,
And pretty
thanks.
good is an understatement. So I
Yeah,
I can tell that's probably a huge learning curve. What do I'm not familiar with how you construct pixel art. Is that available in Game Maker?
yeah.
That
So you
like
can use GameMaker. Like a lot of people will use something called A which is a very like Photoshop-esque piece of software, but geared entirely towards pixel art. And then if you need to, you can just use Photoshop. There's some like settings and things you can change in Photoshop to gear it a little bit more towards pixel art.
oh, okay. And then then did you use like Imagine? tutorials like on like YouTube or like somebody when you ran into a problem or something to learn? Did you like lean on any of your friends who might have like more experience with pixel art?
Yeah, definitely. I've got like a like one friend I'm pretty close with that has taught me a lot about like properly shading and things like that in pixel art. I'm definitely not anywhere near his level of it, but I am slowly learning, you know.
Yeah, I gotcha. It's a super cool skill. I really admire definitely animations, the art, and sound because those things just really make the game. It makes it like tangible. Like I was saying, even with your lever there, like
Right.
it gives you the feel, and that's super bored. I mean, here you're getting people playing for almost a day's length of time, so it's
Yeah.
it's definitely keeping people on the screen. Now, I really appreciate the titles that you showed me. Now, a little bit kind of like a lightning round of some questions
Mhm.
I have is was there a game that you played that inspired you to become a game developer?
Yeah, so I think originally the original Legend of Zelda on the Nintendo Entertainment System, and then again the Ocarina of Time on the
Okay.
Nintendo 64 were like some of my favorite games. That definitely got me into it.
See, I haven't had a chance to explore those titles. I've been meaning to. I actually just got a Wii, and so I plan on
Mhm.
getting Twilight Princess. I think
Yeah,
Skyward
nice.
Sword is the other one, and so I think I'm gonna work my way backwards and start just with the Wii games, and then go backwards and play Ocarina of Time if I can
Hmm.
pick it up for the. I think did it release for the game. Did they make a version for the
I
GameCube?
think they made a game or a version for the Wii, but I'm not entirely sure to be honest. I haven't played it in a long time, so
Yeah, a lot. I hear that game is a lot of people's favorites, and so I really got to try it out. Personally, like where I found so for myself, I guess to answer that question, I think it would have to be. I think it would have to be Halo 2 and
mhm.
3, and more particularly when I saw what it's like to build a game with passionate people, like when Bungie released their like video documentary series when they're making like
Yeah,
Halo
right.
3 and Halo 3 ODST. It was just I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. How Marty O'Donnell would make the sound, and how the writers would talk about why something's this way or why they're
Hmm.
making an enemy this way, and how they would program the game. And so that's really what I found it super interesting. And ultimately, I think just the creativity of it all is just the biggest thing. If people are just coming up making games that they ultimately want to play, so they bring them to life. Now, another question I got for you
All
is,
right.
what is the best advice that you've gotten as a dev making games, and what would be your advice to a dev that is thinking about starting making games and they maybe haven't just like got that final push to get them
Yeah, I
start
think
making a project?
the best thing that the best advice I've ever received or the best advice I could give would be the same. Just go make a game, even if it's not the exact thing you want to make. Just make something, and eventually, you'll work your way closer and closer to making, that large project that you've got planned, uh, or your dream game. But what's important is that you're making something and shipping something. Uh, Try to do that as often as you can, but don't worry about trying to ship the biggest, most feature-packed game. Just go make something kind of fun, you know, in a week or two, and then ship that, and then maybe next game, take a few months and then ship that one, and just slowly work your way up.
Yeah, that's great. I think just doing it, right? Just
Hmm.
starting. I think just starting is beautiful. And if there's if you don't know or if you think it's daunting, I mean that's that's where everyone was at one point. You know, it's like daunting, and there's a lot to learn, but you just keep going, and you just keep learning. Like for me, it's really that animation, the because and the sound is like it seems like a lot, but you just take those. You just got to break it down and just keep going, and also
Mhm.
find find a community, find other people who also want to make a game. If you're able to do a game jam, I know like with Austin game makers, those the community is super friendly. Everybody's super open. If you want to make a game
Mhm.
with somebody, they're totally open to, hey, let's do a game jam, and
If
just
you're
work
ever
with it.
looking for a game jam, itch.io, they have a page just for game jams. At any given point, there's probably 20 or 30 running that you
Yeah,
could just jump in.
hop on Hinge, people. Hop on
Hmm.
Hinge. Alrighty, thank you for coming on the show. Uh, all your links to any itch or Steam, I'll definitely provide it in the description down below so people can check out your games and also keep up the speed for any future projects that you release.
Will do. Thanks very much for having me on.